Hello. So today we're going to be going over the dolphin problem from the expert TA homework, and the question was, a dolphin in an aquatic show jumps straight out of the water at a velocity of 12 meters per second. That was like the initial statement. So then there's two parts to this problem. The first part that I chose to do, which is part B, is a good place to start, is how long in seconds does the dolphin remain in the air? So I drew this picture to kind of explain. So the dolphin's going to go up and then it's going to go down. So the initial velocity is going to be 12 meters per second, which I wrote right here. The final velocity is going to be 0 meters per second because before it starts coming back down, it's going to hit 0 meters per second stop. And the acceleration on the way up is negative 9.8 meters per second. So the first step that I did was I chose an equation. The equation that I chose was the final velocity equals initial velocity plus acceleration times time. So I plugged in all of my numbers. So like I plugged in final velocity, which was 0. I plugged in initial velocity, which is 12 meters per second, plus negative 9.8 meters per second squared for the acceleration, and then times time. We're solving for time. So the first thing I did was subtract 12 meters per second over to the other side. So now it's negative 12 meters per second equals negative 9.8 meters per second squared, t. Then I divided by negative 9.8 and divided negative 12 by negative 9.8, which got me t equals 1.2 seconds. And then I had to multiply the time that I got, which is 1.2, times 2 to get 2.4 seconds. And the reason why I did that is because what comes up must go down. That's the total time that the dolphin was in the air. And that's one thing where students could easily mess up, which is where I messed up the first couple times I did the problem on the expert TA. So it's important to make sure that you multiply your time that you got from the equation by 2. So then the second part of the problem is, how high does the dolphin rise above the water in meters? So again, I drew another picture, and this is just going up because the only part that we need to worry about is the up part, because that's like when it hits 0 meters per second velocity before it starts coming back down, that's going to be the highest point that it reaches. So I wrote here everything that we know. So initial velocity going up is 12 meters per second. And the final velocity when we hit the top is going to be 0 meters per second. Our acceleration again going up is going to be negative 9.8 meters per second squared, which I wrote right here. And then our final thing is the time to go up is only going to be 1.2 meters per second. Don't forget that you're not using the time that you found in the first part. You're only using the time to go up. That's where you can easily make a mistake. So then the equation that I decided to use was final position equals initial position plus initial velocity times time plus 1/2 acceleration times time squared. So what I did was, the first thing I did was plug in everything, and we're solving for final position, which is y. And I plugged in the final velocity, which is 0, and the initial velocity, which is 12 meters per second, times time, 1.2 seconds, plus 1/2 times the acceleration, negative 9.8 meters per second squared, times 1.2 squared. Then I simplified the problem down to y equals 14.4 meters plus plus negative 7.06 meters to get an end height of 7.43 meters.